As we come to the close of the first weekend of the MLB season, I just kind of wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about some more incredible performances throughout the entire day, throughout obviously yesterday. By the time you guys see this, I keep forgetting whenever I'm talking about in these videos that you guys are seeing these like the next morning. It's kind of like a morning show type of thing for you guys. So you guys end up seeing this. Like I recorded pretty late at night after most of the games are done. You guys are going to be able to see it in the morning, of course. But yeah, I mean, this was another incredible day full of baseball. There was so many more good performances. I've just been really excited to come on here and talk to you guys about all of the good performances to kick off the season, man. Like, I feel like everything that a baseball fan would want has been hit on the head this weekend, man. We got so many good offensive performances. We got a lot of new guys that are on new teams perform really, really well. We've seen some other guys perform really, really bad, which we're going to kind of get into later in the episode. But we saw some really good pitching performances. I mentioned about Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, McGree for the Cardinals. We just had Emerson Hancock for the Mariners tonight go. I believe it was 6 no-hit innings as well until I think it was DeLauder that broke up the no-hitter for Cleveland. So I don't know, man. I feel like everything has been hit on the head this week, and we've got so many walk-offs. We've had so many close games. We've had comebacks. The Brewers were down 6 runs. I think it was or five. Was it 5 or 6 runs? I think they were down 7-2 to the White Sox. They scored 6 runs, I believe. They took the lead late in that game after a pinch hit home run from Christian Yelich. So there's just been a little bit of everything, man. I feel like I'm excited that we're gonna get a few weeks into the season, kind of talk about like power rankings, or we can talk about like favorites for like player of the month, or like early season MVP favorites, early season Cy Young favorites, awards, and like all stars and everything, or something that I love talking about. I'm excited to be able to come on here and talk to you guys all about that stuff. But without further ado, we're going to kind of get into a few things, a few headlines for today's games and everything that kind of went on. Some things that I had saw, of course. The first one, I got to talk a little bit about the Blue Jays first. Eric Lauer completely shoved. I'll make this a little bit quick because I feel like I've talked about the Blue Jays a lot over the first few episodes. So Eric Lauer completely shoved. He struck out, I believe, 7 or 8 guys on the Athletics. The Athletics struck out so much in this opening weekend. Blue Jays ended up sweeping the A's too. I believe that's the first time since 1996 that the Toronto Blue Jays have started the season 3-0. Kazuma Okamoto with his first career home run, a deep center field fly ball. He looked really good today. Jesus Sanchez destroyed a fastball to center field for his first home run with Toronto as well. Another big game today was the Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Royals. The Braves were not able to sweep the Royals. The Royals capitalized on a really good performance from Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo is one of those guys. I mean, the Royals are going to be one of those interesting teams to me this year because I think that they have what it takes to get relatively far in the season. In my opinion, I think they'll be battling with the Tigers for the division most of the year. I think the Tigers have the edge in pretty much every aspect, but if the Royals can stay healthy, Bobby Witt can capitalize on what season he has had the last few years, man. I mean, Bobby Witt is an immaculate talent. He is incredible. And then, guys like Maikel Garcia, if he can continue to do what he did last year, I mean, Maikel Garcia was incredible. He had like a 5 or 6 WAR season last year. He was nuts. All-star, of course. I don't know if did he win the Gold Glove at third base? He either won it, or I know he was a finalist. Forget if he won it or not, but he was really, really good last year. If they can build off of like a healthy season for Vinny, he had 30 home runs last season. Jack Caglianone, like Jack has so much talent. If he can just put everything together. Carter Jensen, I also think is going to be a good little piece for them. They still have Selby kicking around. He might be able to sneak in, 15, 20 home run season for them, which would kind of be nice for them, of course. But I don't know. I think the Royals, and we know what the pitching is like. The starting rotation, when they're healthy, is honestly one of the better ones in all of baseball, in my opinion. I think the Royals have a very underrated starting rotation when they're all healthy. Lugo, Waka, Ragans, Chris Bubich, even like guys like Noah Cameron has looked really fast. Like, I really, really like things that are going on over in Kansas City, and I like the little holes that they filled in the offseason with guys like, I know they picked up like Starling Marte. There's a few other little pieces that I can't think off the top of my head, but I know that they picked up in the offseason, which I just think is a good thing. I know that they had extended certain guys. Michael Garcia got the extension too. So the Royals are one of those teams that I'm excited to see a full season out of them, because 2 years ago they made the playoffs. They beat the Orioles in the playoffs too. So I don't know. I like the Royals. I just want to see them healthy. I want to see, a full season of everybody. So but yeah, I mean, Seth Lugo looked really good today against the Atlanta Braves. He was a Cy Young contender a couple seasons ago. So if they can get performances like that out of him, I think the ceiling is pretty high for the Royals. Alex Bregman had a 2 home run game for the Cubs today. I did not get a chance to catch this game. Unfortunately, it was on blackout on the program that I was trying to watch that game, so I wasn't able to catch that. Did see that Bregman had a 2 home run game. I believe they I don't know if they lost today or not. I should have been checking that, but did see that Bregman hit a 2 home run game. If there's any Cubs fans in the comments, make sure to let me know what you guys thought of that game. Obviously, Bregman early on has looked pretty solid so far. I do know that one of my Twitch mods had commented on my video the other day about Nico Horner's extension. Completely forgot to really talk about that. I don't even know all the details to the money off the top of my head. It is super late kind of filming this video, guys. So maybe all the information might not fully be there, but Nico Horner did sign an extension, which I'm really excited for the Cubs for that, because there was talks about maybe them trying to trade him away and moving like Matt Shaw to second base and like switching things around, or I feel like there was just a lot of talks about Nico Horner the last few years. So I'm glad that he's sticking with the Cubs. He's kind of one of those, he's such a valuable player. I mean, he had what, a 6 WAR season last year. Nico Horner he might be a different type of player. He might not be everybody's cup of tea, but he is a super valuable player in the MLB for the Chicago Cubs. Now, I have a few other quick things to talk about here before I kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this episode and kind of what I wanted to really talk to you guys most about. One of the first things I wanted to kind of get into is the Los Angeles Angels have really surprised me so far. And I was really kind of looking at some of their roster. I know that Josh Lowe, I forget if he had a home run today or not, but then I saw that they had Jamer Candelario. Forgot that they picked him up too. They have some guys. They have so many guys in there that are like either former good players, former all-star talents, or guys that veteran people that they could plug in and like maybe trade them away at the deadline type of thing. Like, I like when teams do that. I like when they bring in veteran pieces or guys that could get a good first half and then trade them away at the deadline, whether it's short-term contract guys to win now, guys to like young pieces, whatever. The Angels have done that in the past, but I really don't know if the Angels are one of those teams that you can trust to bring in those guys in the offseason and trade them away at the deadline for the proper pieces, because the Angels had did this a few years ago. Do you guys remember when they brought in, I think it was what, did they trade? I think it was like CJ Crone, when they made the trade for Hunter Renfroe. They made a trade. This was like, I believe this was Ohtani's last Angels, I want to say, or the year prior, one or the other. And then they were like on the verge of making like a wild card spot. They made a bunch of trades at the deadline, brought in some good pieces that I thought were going to help them maybe get over that hump. And I was like, oh man, the Angels are making some moves. They completely fell on their face after that. That was really bad. And they ended up cutting those guys. They didn't even trade them away. They didn't wait till the end of the season. They cut those guys. Like, all of those guys went on to other teams when they probably could have got things for them if they had wanted to trade them away or not have traded for them in the first place. But they have so many guys right now. Like, I look at guys like a Jordan Romano who they picked up. They picked up Alek Manoah, of course. They got Grayson Rodriguez in that trade with the Orioles. They got Drew Pomeranz is in the bullpen. Jamer Candelario, like I said. Yohan Moncada is still there. Josh Lowe from Tampa Bay, who had shown flashes in the past. So they have a lot of guys that I think are looked at as like flash type of players, where if they want to trade them away at the deadline and hopefully get something in return, I just don't know if the Angels are that type of team to do that, man. Like, Art Moreno is such a bad owner. Like, everybody in the organization, I feel so bad for their fans, man. It has been so long since they've had good, competent baseball. And I just wish, like, I see like the markings of like them being about to break through, whether it was a few years ago when they had Ohtani and they had Trout, of course. They were on the verge of doing something big, and they made some good signings. And I could go on and on talking about the Angels over the last 10, 12 years, but Gonna kind of keep it to something short because man, they have I don't know. This year is going to be a weird year for the Angels. They have such a weird roster. I just really hope that they're willing to trade some of these guys away at the deadline. We touched on it a little bit earlier. The Milwaukee Brewers had made a comeback after giving up 7 runs to the White Sox early in the game. Brandon Sproat, one of the top pitching prospects that they got in return for Freddie Peralta from from the New York Mets. He gave up 7 runs today in 3 innings of work, I do believe. Did not look great. He did not look great on. Luckily for him, the Brewers were able to come back and capitalize on that. And man, I mean, the offense for the Brewers has looked really good, man. Don't do please, man. Do not let me get up on these Brewers. Please don't let me, because like I said, man, the last few years has been me rooting for the Brewers and so high on Milwaukee every single year. And don't let me get hot on the Brewers again, because they're going to let me down. So I'm going to try my best to force that out of my head. But they had a great game today. We know Churio is hurt. We talked about how Andrew Vaughn is out too. So they still got some guys that are going to hopefully be coming back soon. But Brandon Sproat did not look too good. Later games again at the night. I know the Mariners are always one of the teams that are going to be playing super late because they're on the West Coast. They play at like 11 p.m. my time, so I always got to stay up a few hours later to watch them if I am able to. They were able to play pretty good baseball today to start off the season 2-1. Now, man, Josh Naylor is still, I think he's what, 0 for 15? I don't think he got a hit again today. Cal Raleigh did not look good again today. He swung, there was one at bat where he swung at 3 pitches down low, all in the dirt, and I was like, Cal Raleigh is not seeing the ball well right now at all. J-Rod has not looked good. Obviously, Josh Naylor has not looked good. Like, their top heavy guys have not looked great whatsoever. But they're 2-1. They're 2-1 on the backs of Luke Raley, Dominic Canzone, who has looked really good so far, and Brendan Donovan had his big breakout game today. He had a 3-run home run to right field, one or the other. And he also got hit by pitch twice. He made some really good defensive plays over at third base. This game was all about Brendan Donovan. I like to see him. I love him as a player. I loved him with St. Louis. I'm happy that the Mariners were that team to get him in the offseason, because I think he has a lot of talent, a lot of versatility. You can plug and play him anywhere. He's a great little hitter. You know, he can do a little bit of everything with the bat. So I just think he's a really, really good player, I think. So I'm glad the Mariners were that team to get him, because they needed somebody like that, and he really showed out today. Now for the meat and potatoes, guys. Bo Bichette has not looked good as a New York Mets so far. He started off the season 1 for 14 with 7 strikeouts so far. I was not able to catch the entire Mets game today, but I did see somebody had hit me up earlier today that Bo Bichette was greeted to boos by the New York Mets fans to kick off today's game. And, that doesn't surprise me, because it's New York fans, and we know how Mets fans are. We know how Yankees fans are. We know how these big market teams fans can be. But yeah, he started off the season 1 for 14, and as a Blue Jays fan who had witnessed Bo Bichette for many years, and the controversial player that he has been, I don't even really know the proper word to kind of describe him as a player, but I will speak for any Mets fan here, and I will say that you guys do not need to worry. Bo Bichette will go through these streaks where he looks like the worst hitter in all of baseball. He makes the worst swing decisions in all of baseball. He can't get a single hit on anything whatsoever. He will go through these streaks where he looks that way, and it'll just, a switch will flip, and there might be one game is all it takes where he will all of a sudden go on a massive streak of like a bunch of 3-hit games. He'll have like 4-hit games all in a row, and everything he is swinging at, he is hitting. They might be pitches in the dirt, they might be pitches up high. He's getting the confidence to be his usual aggressive self. So Mets fans, I don't think you guys need to worry. I had witnessed Bo Bichette for all those years be that type of player where, he's always such an ultra aggressive player, but he did address the fans earlier today as well. He had mentioned how he knows, I mean, he's not stupid. Baseball players are not stupid. When they're struggling, they know that they're struggling. They know that the fans would be upset. They're upsetting themselves. They're probably, like Bo Bichette has been through this a lot. Like I said, I had witnessed so many times where and I would be frustrated as a fan. I remember my mom had, and my mom's not like she's a baseball fan. She watches the games with us, but all the years where Bo Bichette was playing, I think she always kind of hit it on the head too. Is he would try too hard sometimes, and I think that is just a part of who he is and how an aggressive hitter he is, which is not a bad thing. If it works, it works. But there is times where he would get a little bit too aggressive, and you can tell that he's in his head and he's making these awful swing decisions on pitches that he might be able to hit sometimes, but when he's not on, I feel like him being able to make those adjustments is key. And there's been times where I wasn't able to make those proper adjustments. Like, don't really know how to explain it the right way. I hope you guys are kind of understand what I'm saying, but like he would have a lot of at bats or a lot of games in a row where he would take the same type of swings as if he was hot, as if like there'd be a lot of times where, man, the balls are coming in, they're looking like beach balls to him. He can hit them no matter where they're at. If they're high, they're low, they're outside, they're inside, whatever. He can turn on pitches. Any pitcher that's coming up, he knows that he was the denominator in that situation, so he was going to be able to capitalize on whatever. But when he wasn't playing well, it was almost as if he wasn't able to make an adjustment in that moment until he got hot again. So when he is cold, he is really cold. And I know that's a lot about, every player goes through cold stretches, every player goes through hot stretches, but I feel like Bo, also in the past, I had told my friend too, he has had bad months of April in the past. I know he was notorious for always starting off really, really slow. So I don't think the Mets fans need to worry. I know that they wanted to greet him with a little bit of booze and say, you know what? You're a Met now. You play in New York. We're going to give you a hard time if you play bad. And as much as I don't like to see that, especially for somebody like Bo that I hold very near and dear to my heart, but I understand, and I'm sure he understood too when he signed with the Mets, that is kind of something that you kind of have to deal with if you play in New York. But honestly, though, I don't think you guys have to worry whatsoever. I don't think Mets fans have to worry. Bo will pick it up. I'm excited to see how he is going to play with an offense that he has so much cushion around him. I mean, he always had cushion with Toronto too, but this is a different type of offense with the New York Mets. They almost picked him up today. The Pirates did win the game. It was an extra inning thriller. I know Jorge Polanco almost hit a walk-off home run for them to right field. I was able to catch the end of that game, and it looked like it was a really good one. So I don't know, man. The Pirates and the Mets. There was so many good series to start off this season. The Pirates and the Mets. I know the Rays and the Cardinals were a really good series. Even if Toronto had swept the Athletics, I really enjoyed watching that series. I don't know. I don't know. The Marlins are off to a 3-0 start. They swept the Rockies. The Marlins had looked really well. So I don't know, guys. There's been a lot of teams that have looked good so far. The next few episodes of this, we're going to probably obviously I'm going to talk about some headlines, some big things that are going on in the sport, but I kind of want to like focus on players, individual success, uh, guys that I have seen really good things about, guys that maybe are, not starting off too hot, which I know we kind of elaborated on some of those guys so far today, but yeah, I mean, in the next episode, we'll probably talk a little bit more on that, but yeah, I appreciate all you guys so much for tuning into these episodes, man. I have had an absolute blast recording some of this stuff. I mean, baseball has always been my forte. You guys, if you guys are tuning in from Twitch and you guys know me from over on Twitch, you guys know that honestly most of what my Twitch streams are is just me yapping about baseball, me talking about the sport, me talking about the MLB, which if I can talk about anything in this world, if I have any type of calling, I really truly believe that's what this is. So I appreciate all you guys for being here so much. Leave a like, make sure to subscribe. We're going to try to hit some good goals over here on YouTube.